You know, in the world of high-stakes finance and crypto, there are some pretty wild stories. But this one is like a ghost story. It's a story about genius, incredible charisma, and one of the biggest frauds in modern history. This is the story of the missing crypto queen. I mean, it's a question straight out of a thriller, right? How does someone at the absolute top of their game, a global icon to millions of people, just disappear from the face of the earth? And not just disappear with, get this, $4 billion of other people's money. Just let that number sink in for a second. 4 billion. And when you do that, you earn yourself a very unique and kind of terrifying distinction, a spot on the FBI's 10 most wanted list. This is the absolutely incredible story of Dr. Ruja Ignatova. So, to really understand how she pulled this whole thing off, we have to go back to the beginning, right back to when she wasn't a fugitive, but was seen as a visionary, the self-proclaimed crypto queen. Now, this is key to the whole story. Dr. Ruja wasn't just some random person with an idea. Look at this resume. A PhD in law, she studied at Oxford, a former consultant at the super prestigious McKinsey & Company. She was brilliant, she was polished, she just radiated credibility. So, of course, people trusted her, instantly. And the promise she was selling, oh, it was intoxicating. You have to picture this. She's on stages in these huge packed arenas, wearing designer gowns, and telling everyone that her new creation, OneCoin, was going to be the Bitcoin killer. This wasn't for tech geniuses, she said. No, this was a revolution that would make ordinary people rich. And people bought it. Millions of them. From Europe to Asia, all the way to North America, they poured their life savings into her vision. They were just completely mesmerized by her charisma and this promise of getting in on the ground floor of the next big thing. But as you can probably guess, behind all the glamour and the global hype, the entire operation was built on a lie, a $4 billion illusion. And at its very core was one critical deception. And this is really the crucial question. To all of her followers, this was the future of money. But what was really happening behind the curtain? Was it real innovation, or was it something else entirely? So, to understand the scam, you only need to know this one simple concept. A real cryptocurrency, like Bitcoin, runs on something called a public blockchain. Just think of it like a transparent, shared digital notebook that everyone can see and no single person controls. It's what makes the whole thing trustworthy. And right here, this is where the entire scam is laid bare. Where Bitcoin has a public blockchain, OneCoin just had a private server. Where Bitcoin is decentralized, OneCoin was controlled entirely by Ruja. And while Bitcoin's value is backed by its network and its technology, OneCoin's value was backed by, well, absolutely nothing. The whole thing was fake. So the bottom line is, investors weren't actually buying a new currency. They were just sending money directly to Dr. Ruja. The whole operation was really just a classic pyramid scheme, a multi-level marketing setup where you got paid for recruiting new investors, all while they were funneling billions in cash through a web of offshore accounts. Which brings us right back to the central mystery, because when the walls started closing in, when authorities finally got suspicious, the crypto queen performed her final and her greatest magic trick. The timeline of how she vanished is just chilling. After about 3 years of raking in billions, in October 2017, just as law enforcement was zeroing in, she boarded a commercial flight from Sofia, Bulgaria to Athens, Greece, and was never seen again. Her phones went dark, her emails stopped, she just disappeared. 5 years later, in 2022, the FBI officially made her one of their most wanted. So, what happened to her? Well, the theories are wild. Some people say she used all that money to get extensive plastic surgery and is just living quietly under a new name. Others believe she's being protected by powerful allies in the Middle East. And then there's a darker theory, that her own criminal partners had her killed to silence her. The truth is, nobody knows for sure. So while Ruja Ignatova became a ghost, the damage she left behind was devastatingly real. The aftermath of OneCoin, it's a story of human tragedy. Yeah, this isn't just about numbers on a screen. Real people lost everything. We're talking their entire life savings, their homes, their businesses. Families were completely destroyed. And beyond all that financial ruin, the scam did huge damage to the public's trust in the legitimate crypto space for years. But the hunt for her is still very much active. The FBI is currently offering a reward of up to $5 million for any information that leads directly to the arrest of Dr. Ruja Ignatova. And let's be really clear about her notoriety. Out of the 10 most wanted fugitives in the world, a list that's dominated by violent criminals, she is the only woman, and she's one of the very few people ever wanted for a white-collar crime. That alone tells you the scale of her deception. In the end, her story is this chilling reminder of how belief can be weaponized. She built an empire on trust and perfect timing, promising to democratize wealth for everyone. Instead, she engineered one of the greatest heists in history, and her legacy leaves us with one pretty haunting thought. In the digital age, the line between genius and deception can vanish just as quickly as she did.